Good evening, Dr. Briegel and fellow students. My name is Bryan Bailey, and I am going ahead and starting my video project for the week. And with this week's assignment, we were asked to identify 3 limitations that affect school districts. And we could also probably throw in corrections education or adult education programs as well. So, having looked through the articles of D'Oria's work, I also took the initiative and found a couple of articles that deal with that, such as IRAM, STEMbridge, and others, framing urban school challenges or problems to examine when implementing resources for interventions, and an article by Kristen Jennifer on EHOW about socioeconomic factors affecting education. So I identified 3 items or limitations that severely can limit the students' access to a higher education. First thing I would like to talk about is poorly functioning data management systems. And I'm citing from ARAM et al. Article, Framing Urban School Challenges. What I see quite a bit going on, having come from a family of educators and also as an administrator myself, is that there's really no coherent system for pretty much any school district that to use when they're recording student data, entering student data, and using it as records within probably any state. For example, say here in the state of Florida, the city of Miami might be operating on a completely different data information system than, say, Jacksonville, or even the Florida Department of Education in Tallahassee, or even the Florida prison system is operating under its own system. Where can this hurt the students? Well, to me, if you don't have a uniform system and uniform codes and a uniform system to input data and to track data and to use this data, whether it's quantitative or qualitative, you're missing the needs of the students. And if you could have a uniform system used to track data to help your students improve reading scores, test taking strategies, math skills, whatever it may be, a uniform system will have it where everybody is receiving the same education services. Okay, Aaron pointed out that a lot of times there's a lot of these data management systems are ineffective, underutilized systems, and so in looking at it from the Florida prison system, our data management system is not exactly the best in the world neither. We're operating under data information systems called CDC and OBIS, which are using platforms designed from the early 1990s to input scores for tests such as TABE, pre-GD, or GD, or when we gather special ed information or Title I information on inmate students. So I would like to suggest maybe a couple of suggestions, maybe to help school districts around the country or even a prison system to have a more uniform network. Okay, 1, you need to have a uniform, consistent system. Okay, 2, you got to have a pool of money or some kind of budget to where every school district can purchase, or maybe the State Department of Education can help school districts purchase the same system. Say it might be Microsoft Outlook as a generic example. And on top of that, have a core group of staff at each level, the state, the county, and the city schools, or even in the prison system, know what to put in, when to put into the system, how to track the data, and how to pull the data out, so where the staff in the field, the teachers, the administrators, can look at this data and use it to create effective instruction. Okay. The second issue I find rather troubling, and I'm quoting from ARAM, STEMbridge, and others from Framing Urban School Challenges is the lack of instructional coherence, which is, I think, is very problematic in school districts all over the United States, and even in the prison systems. So now, many times when it seems like when a new fashionable instructional strategy comes out, or a learning initiative, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and say, okay, here it is, this is what we're going to have, and on all the new initiatives that come down, compete and override and create chaos and confusion with other initiatives that were just brought in, say, 6 months to a year ago. And a lot of times the students get confused. Educators get confused. I know I have in the past when we've had new initiatives for Department of Corrections, such as reading initiatives that overtook one that was rather effective. Okay. Also, it can be that, well, the professional development in itself, where we teachers are trained to the professional development to launch these initiatives, can be ineffective because we're only just told, okay, here's 40 to 50% of the story, but we a lot of times we were like, okay, well, where's the data? Where's the hard fact? Where is I guess you can say the data to find out, okay, how does this work? All right, what are the expectations here? Okay, and having been, like I said, a corrections educator for 11 years, I've had this happen several times, where we had a rather effective ESOL literacy plan going, and then a new flavor of the month fad for helping ESOL students came down from Tallahassee and the Department of Education, and basically there was minimal training, minimal implementation, and we were just basically dumped with the software and books and say, here, use this, and we were completely, the educators and the administrators were completely clueless, and on top of that, even the Hispanic students in the Florida prison system were completely confused and caught off guard with this new initiative that really didn't make any sense to them. Okay, so I'm thinking, and I strongly suggest that target specific needs of the students. Okay, instead of having a generic initiative, everybody wants to read. Okay, well, why not figure out, okay, well, what kind of reading skills do people need? Is it comprehension? Is it words in context? Evaluate and extend meaning, construct meaning. That would be more specific, and in turn, give the teachers the hardcore data, the hardcore information that's there, and specific examples on how to help their students pick apart the reading skills, like I said, for whether it be comprehension, context, and clue words, evaluate, extend meaning, or construct meaning, whether it's for reading, language arts, science, social studies on the GED curriculum, or the FCAT, which is used here in Florida, or other assessments used either by the feds, Federal Department of Education, or each and every other state Department of Education, and then they're out below them in the school districts. But in the Department of Corrections, we pretty much have a standard reading initiative right now, where we're teaching the four basic reading skills for the GED, reading, science, and social studies, and that is comprehension, context, clue words, evaluate and extend meaning, and construct meaning. Okay. The last issue I find quite really even more disturbing, and it's a kind of a touchy issue, but is the issue of race itself. For quite some time now, as I interview my new students who come into my GED programs, a very sad fact is that most of my GD students and these young men or older men are African Americans, with some whites, Hispanics, and a couple of Asians mixed in with my student population. And I find it very sad that it has been a lot of these young black men have been instilled into them that they're a failure, and that the only way that they're going to get recognition by society, by their family, is to go to prison, get your high school diploma while you're in prison, some kind of job skills while you're in prison, instead of being successful in the school districts. And I hear this time and time again when I interview my students, and to me it's really heartbreaking. And I'm quoting from Kristen Jennifer, Socioeconomic Factors Affecting Education, is that African and Hispanic American students constantly trail behind European and Asian American students in reading and math skills. To me, that's just really troubling. Now, granted, everybody has their strong point, whether it's reading, writing, or math. But however, there needs to be something done to where no matter what race or what ancestry you are, or the color of your skin, there has to be some kind of parity for reading, writing, and math skills, period. So Miss Kelly, I'm sorry, I take it back, Miss Jennifer cited in the No Child Left Behind Act in 2002 that it was created by Congress and President Bush Jr. to improve academic performance for students in African American schools by placing emphasis on teacher quality and performance. To me, that's a start. And holding teachers accountable for good quality and performance, whether it be the lesson plans, the data that they accumulate and send up to their administrators and who send it up to the superintendents. It's a good start, but what I really honestly think is that each student, no matter what race they are, there has to be an alliance of teachers, parents, students, administrators, religious and civic leaders unite and instill a sense of value in every student, every young mind who comes to a school who wants to learn, that everyone can be successful, and it can be a positive member of society. And as I said, and looking at it from the correction side of it, like I said, most of my students who will be taking the GED test later this year, and quite assuredly, these men will pass it. These men have been so marginalized by their parents, civic leaders, some teachers from the schools that they attended. They're just basically in a never-ending cycle in what I would call maybe the culture of failure. So where I feel sometimes me and the other staff on duty here at the prison I work at, we try to instill a sense of confidence into these men that earning your high school diploma and vocational skills and some sort of anger management, drug coping skills is a positive accomplishment, and you need to build, and they should build upon that. So those are my three issues that I see that are really limiting the education system here in the United States as a whole, whether it's in a state, city, a rural, poor county, whatever it may be. Granted, there are many others, but I sat down and had to think from where my is. I'm sorry, I take it back. From my perspective, and what can maybe public school educators could learn from the adult education correction side of it as well. So thus that concludes my report and my project for this week. Thank you for watching.